So here's my question. It's like, why don't they just work on the fucking book and release it as a fucking original graphic novel? Why don't they just do that? Because you know the book's going to be late.
Oh, no, because you can't market it then. I mean, how many graphic novels do you see even being released these days anymore that get this kind of?
Well, the Joker got that Joker book that Azzarello and Lee Bermejo did got some pretty huge buzz going up into it, and it sold really, really good.
Yeah, but again, it's back. The dailies is the thing, because then you can later on you can also collect it in trade. This is an icon book or an image book? Icon book. Okay, so it's an icon book.
No,
I don't know. Yeah. To me, all the marketing stuff aside, I don't get the fascination with Miller. I just don't. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a writer, as a self. If I had half the self-marketing ability that he did, he took all the marketing stuff that like Warren Ellis started doing, and he took it to the next step, took it to the next level.
It's like, why isn't anybody catching on to that? He's not that great anymore. I mean,
it's a cult of personality, is what it is. It's a big cult of personality, and that's what we're finding out right now in comics. Neil Gaiman kind of started it, and I think Neil Gaiman started it, and then Grant Morrison ran with it. The comic book writer as a rock star. You know, Neil Gaiman was the first comic writer. But those guys did some pretty solid work, though. No, I know, but that's where they took the ability and formed it into a persona. And other comic book writers now are doing it the other way. They're building the persona first and then trying to work back towards ability. You know, it's all part of marketing, marketing yourself, that cult of personality where, you know, wow, so-and-so wrote this book. That must be really cool. They're really cool, so I'm going to read it, and by association, I will be cool. You know, why do certain people find, you know, you follow certain bands, you know? It was back to that whole thing about the discussion we had. Do you follow the talent or do you follow the title, the characters? It seems to go back and forth. Right now, you have writers like, you know, Mark Miller, creators like Steve McNiven, others who now they are breaking out of the whole, it has to be a particular character that makes my metal. You know, they can do more with it. So, again, while I really have no interest in Nemesis, and I'm more than likely not going to read it. Well, maybe read it to review it.
Read it.
You'll read it. And if I'm surprised, I'll be, you know, that's great. But the part that fascinates me the most is all the marketing behind it. And again, the cult of personality of all these people who are just ready to jump on board and talk about it being the next great thing.
Well, it's because he's talking about it because that's going to be the next great thing. And people...
that's kind of what you need to do, though, when you think about it. You kind of need to be able to talk up your own thing so that people...
I understand that, and no one does it better than Mark Miller. But the thing I don't understand is, like, you can only... How many times can you fool people, though? I mean, remember War Heroes is going to be the next big thing, Kick-Ass? Those things turn out to be garbage. To me.
To you.
Obviously.
I was going to say, because...
I mean, it still sells great numbers. And
Kick-Ass sells great. How's War Heroes been selling?
I have no idea. I mean, they're talking about another book that never comes out.
Yeah, so that's a problem there. But Kick-Ass, for all the criticism, even the people who read Kick-Ass, who say they don't like it, they still read it, and they kind of like defend it. Yeah, I know. There's some folks on our boards who've gone in saying, "Yeah, I was expecting this, but it turned out to be this. But still, it's stupid. I don't care. It's fun." You know, okay. I can't wrap my brain around that. I can't wrap my brain. If anybody else had done Kick-Ass other than Mark Miller, would you still have people reading it?
Probably not.
You know? I mean, because it's really...
if it was a first-time writer who wrote that, he'd be laughed out of the industry.
Yeah, be friggin' laughed out. Laughed out! If I did Kick-Ass, I would have been laughed out of the industry. It just seems ridiculous. It seems ridiculous. But again, because it's marketed in a certain way... And it's done by certain writers.
And it's got its own movie coming out, and Mark Miller sold the rights to War Heroes as a movie, and he's selling, you know, all these properties that he's created. But again, I think that selling the movies is another thing that just it speaks to the masses. It's so mediocre that they can make a movie out of it and get as many people to watch it as possible because it's just there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing clever to it at all.
It's funny you should mention that, though. And it's ironic talking about Bendis books in the beginning of these segments. I just read Fortune and Glory, Bendis's Fortune and Glory, which
like his autobiography,
one of his autobiography where he talked about trying to sell Jinx and Torso to Hollywood and to be made in the movies, and which is actually really good.
No, I really,
it's really good. And he had a really hard time. I mean, he had an easier time selling the properties, but they never got made in the movies. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder. Mark Millar's got to have the magic touch, because the fact that he is able to go in, sell these properties, and they're actually being turned into movies, considering how difficult it is, that's pretty impressive.
I think he's financing most. Like
Still, that's really impressive. You got to give him that. That is impressive.
Well, and the fact that he got like a good director for Kick-Ass 2, which I don't know how that happened.
Steven Johnson, the guy who did...
No. There's a guy who did Stardust.
Stardust? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I thought he got the guy who did Daredevil to do it. No?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he directed Stardust, and I really liked that movie.
Well,
Vaughn. That's the guy.
That's right. Yes. Well, I gotta say, I don't care for his stuff, but he has he's got my begrudging respect there. He can actually get his comics made in the movies. It's pretty impressive.
How about getting the comics out first?
True. Oh, I don't know. And then you know what it is too? You took the two most iconic characters in comics, Joker and Batman, juxtapose them, got fanboys talking right there. Fanboys talking. Oh wow! If Batman were the Joker, that would be so cool. Yeah. That would rock. R-A-W-K, rock. Oh well. Mr. Miller, gotta give it to you. I gotta at least give you that. Oh well. As you can see on the face of my friend here, he is soundly defeated by this topic.
Yeah. But let's end on a happy note. In November of last month, actually, the #1 trade paperback in the industry was Chew Volume 1.
Chew.
So I want to send out our congratulations to John Layman and Rob Guillory for having the #1 trade paperback in the industry, which is pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome because you had a book that solely by word of mouth was going around. And you know what? And knowing John Layman as I do, that guy is the anti-Miller. The guy will not toot his own horn for anything. He will not. And he lets his work speak for itself. And it's really, really awesome stuff.
Well, let's hope that this does not go to his head.
It actually kind of, the guy, I swear he's stalking me on the internet right now. Every time I'm on Facebook, he's like messaging me. When are you going to talk about Chew? When are you going to talk about Chew? Got another Chew review? You going to do it? When's Jose? What does Jose think about it? He always asks me what you think about the latest issue. He's always asking me that.
Well, but now he's got, CBR.
I know, and I told
him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need us anymore. He's got CBR.
Yeah.
So we helped him take off, but he's going to be flying in the stars. We're going to be on the forgotten. Thanks.
When you work your way to the top, you got to step on a few folks. Right here, I got some footprints on my back. Yeah. Right here. But seriously, John, congratulations to you and Rob on a job well done. So we'll end this on that note. Do not forget, the contest is running right now on the CCW blog. To know what the contest is, you got to visit it and find out. And we will be getting ready for the end of the year and the beginning of Season 3 in 2010, where we hope to have some changes going on, or I hope to have some changes going on in the channel, provided I can find the time and the inspiration to actually work the redesign in. So, we'll see.
Really hard life.
So until next time, this has been Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again, and we'll see you on the flip side.